Hi, everybody. Welcome to another week in Pensado's Place. He's Dave. I'm Herb. And in a minute, you're going to meet a movie star and a music star. But first, got some stuff for you. As promised, the Pensado Fall Free-for-All Sweepstakes has finally arrived. It's brought to you by Warm Audio and Groove 3 with prizing from Isotope, Eventide, Sonarworks, Leapwing Audio, Tascam, and IK Multimedia. Along with Warm Audio and Groove 3 and Pensado's Place, we've got lots and lots of goodies for you and some super cool features. For instance, every single person who enters wins something. Every single person. We're going to have 3 winners weekly for a great bundle announced on Pensado's Place for a month, all starting next week, and then a grand prize winner following that at the end of the contest.
Gee, Herb, what will they win?
Dave, I'm glad you asked. For the weekly winners from Warm, a mic trio, they're 47 Junior, they're 14, and they're 87, an incredible set of emulated mics. From Tascam, a Track Factory or Porta Studio, Isotopes providing Neutron 2, Sonarworks Hot Reference 4.1, Eventide's got a brand new SP 2016 reverb, and we've got for you Dave's new book, The Art of Recording Vocals, Leapwing's Dyne 1 plugin, and from IK Multimedia, each week a different hardware-software combo. Week 1, iLoud micro monitors and T-Rax Max. Week 2, Keyboard I/O and Sample Tank. Week 3, iRig Stomp, guitar players, and Amplitude. Week 4, iRig Pro I/O and Lursen Mastering Console. And everyone who enters receives a free 30-day all-access pass to exceptional instructional videos by your favorite audio pros. That's provided by Groove 3. And then the grand prize winner, that goes to a whole other level. First off, we're going to have you on Pensado's Place. You'll sit in that chair and get a mug and be a guest. We look forward to that. Warm Audio is going to get you a bundle that includes a mic pre, and a compressor. Isotope has their 08 N2 bundle. Eventide's Anthology X Suite, Sonarworks Reference 4, Leapwing's Dyne 1 and Center 1, a 1-year all-access pass from Groove 3, Track Factory and Porta Studio from Tascam, and IK Multimedia's Total Studio 2 Max, and a pair of iLoud micro monitors. So how do you enter? Pretty simple. Go to pensadosplace.tv/fall free for all. Enter your name, your email, where you're from, and you are golden. Remember, that's pensadosplace.tv/fall free, the number 4, all. Enter name and email, and you are a winner. Remember, everybody who enters wins something. So go right now, get plugged in, and we cannot wait to pick starting next week. The Pensado Fall Free for All. Can't wait to see you. By the way, I got a call from the Blackbird Academy this morning. They've got a seat that's opened up in their studio courses. Should fill that right away, and there are still seats available on their live side. Go to carma at theblackbirdacademy.com and grab those seats. Very important to do. So remember what you got to do. Sign up for the Pensado Fall Free for All contest. Make sure you get in there and win some prizes. Also, sign up for our newsletter. Please like and subscribe and click notify. Looking forward to announcing some winners real soon. DP, crazy contest and a new ITL, right?
Everything you need is in this contest right here. It's amazing.
Yeah,
one of our best giveaways.
From a pro level, all stuff you can use to improve your skills, do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
Plus a lot of instructional material.
I own all this stuff.
That's really cool. Well, that's probably the best endorsement whatsoever.
Yeah.
What's our ITL?
Well, I'm gonna show them how to use synth effects on guitars. Check it out. I was working on this mix and I came up with this guitar sound and I started thinking, I'll show it to you guys as a guitar sound, but I think I'm going to show it to you as a synth sound. So here's a guitar with a synth sound on it. The artist is Jacoy, one of my favorites, as you know, and then Sonny Diamonds, excellent producer. Now, I was trying to find a unique sound for this guitar, but I really think this is a better synth sound than a guitar sound. This is the sound I came up with. Okay, now this final product is a little bit louder, so I apologize for that. Here's without any of my processing on it. Sorry about that, it was a little softer. Now here's without my effects. Now what did I do? Let's check it out. First of all, tried and true, Klanghelm m.w.a. Then a little bit of EQ. Let's try it without those two. I'm gonna use this part here just because it's quicker and I like the way it sounds. Okay, without. So you can see we're adding a little beef. Now, this guy here, I want you to take a look at it. This is a UAD plugin. It's modeled after an old school chorus. It's a Bucket Brigade type plugin. It's old school where you took the sound and you moved it consecutively from one memory point to another. And as you did, it took time to do that, and that's how you created the delays. They had a very analog feel and sound. So this is where a lot of the tone's coming from. Just a basic standards kind of setting. Copy it. This is a really cool plugin. And there you have it. Try it on synthesizers. I got a feeling that I'm going to be using this track preset that I created on a lot of synthesizers in the future. And what else could you use it on? Like sometimes in the world we live in, a Rhodes or a Wurlitzer or sometimes even an electric piano sound can be enhanced with this. So experiment and try it on everything. That's what I'm about to do. See you guys.
He's kind of the perfect hybrid where music meet movies and they both are doing well. Enjoy our conversation with Tyrese. Tyrese.
My man.
What's happening, brother?
What's up, baby?
Back in the day, right?
Yeah, man. Well over 20 years.
Unbelievable.
Sure.
Unbelievable.
At least 24.
What has always been consistent about you is the music in your soul and how you express yourself there. And that was the beginning, and you've not let up with that. Do you define yourself still as a musician, as an artist?
Yeah, that's my first love. It's always easy to find new passions. I think that's just life, where you're just like, man, you go as far as you can in one field and hope that God kind of opens up a new door. I have this saying that I dream with my eyes open. So
I like that.
when I go to sleep, I'm normally so tired, it's pitch black, I don't remember nothing. But I go to different places and different environments and will, have conversations about what people are doing, what they're into, what they've been successful at. And I'd be like, oh my God, like, what is that? And explain it more. And you could find yourself becoming passionate about new things if you allow yourself to stay open and receptive to different ideas.
But musically, the guy that I know has always had a R&B center and always spoke in a soulful way. Ladies were included in the way that you spoke and some of the inspiration.
I don't like beards, man, that's for sure. I like the beards,
the real or
voices.
Implied kind.
That's a headline right there. I wasn't expecting that one.
No calluses. We like soft hands, beautiful energy and perfume for sure.
There you go.
I think when I go back to, I guess, some of my frustrations, sometimes frustration becomes your motivation, and so you kind of looking at the state of music and what was going on, and you're just like, well, damn, if I had a shot at bringing my energy and my voice and my energy to it, this is what I would want to say.
Right.
These are the type of music videos I'd like to shoot. You got dudes just kind of got this urban energy, but you know they ain't from the hood, because when you from the hood, you know who's real and who's not.
That's absolutely correct.
So I just had all kind of motivations. Biggest motivation at the time was I never seen over $100. My mom we had every form of public aid imaginable, you know, Social Security checks, county checks, food stamps. Mom was working 2 jobs under the table. And I was like, you know, there's gotta be something bigger and better than this. And didn't know I could sing, didn't grow up in a church singing where I was, but I wasn't like the lead vocalist. I was like one of 40 people in the choir yelling. So wasn't no real talent there that was ever identified. And then...
but you look good doing it.
Thank you, sir. And then all of a sudden, you know, my neighbor heard me sing when I was in Watts, South Central LA. Born and raised in LA in the hood, and never forget, you know, one of my neighbors heard me sing and she reacted. I was like, what the hell is that? That felt nice.
Absolutely.
And then...
And you perfected that later on as a device. But anyways.
Kept at it. And then I remember it was either a Labor Day, Memorial Day, and she had a bunch of cousins and friends over. And never forget, I was on Parmalee Avenue in Watts. And my neighbor brought like, you know, 8 of her cousins, all ladies, and she said, he can sing. His name is Tyrese. He can sing.
Do you remember what you sang?
I don't remember what I sung.
Probably Brian
I remember
McKnight,
what I sung on my first talent show, but not that one.
What was the first talent show?
First talent show, after my neighbors invited all of her cousins and friends over, and they all started screaming and reacting over my voice because my family told me to shut up. I was just screaming and yelling around the house.
Yeah.
So there was no, he's got something that came from the family. I guess that wasn't really their wheelhouse.
You couldn't probably even imagine that being part of it.
Not at all.
Right.
So after that love that my neighbor and her family gave me, I did my first talent show, which was called the Head Start Talent Showcase. And I sung Smile, Smile Again, the New Edition record. Tell me when will I see you smile again, 'cause I know I miss. And then the crazy thing is, I call myself being in a group, which again, I didn't do my first talent show as a solo dude. I didn't have that much confidence, but I did my first talent show, and all my homies was like, best football player, best basketball player. And I was like, I'm sure we all sound horrible, but can y'all just sing these background parts and let me do my thing?
There you go.
And we won. And that was the start of my journey.
You could have picked an easier song, you know.
How long after that did the Coke commercial come?
I did that when I was 14. I did the Coke commercial when I was 16.
16, got it.
30 seconds into 20 years.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Changed. I mean, literally, because I was engaged with, we had met because he admired a singer I was managing at the time, Brian McKnight.
Still do.
And hard not to. I mean, incredible voice, incredible musician.
You changed my world.
Yeah, and then he and his management team, labels started coming after them, and they would just come over to my office and we would just kick theory. Does this make sense? Does that make sense? Does this? And it was this kind of loose advisory thing, and then I called RCA and made some moves, and he ended up there. But what was so funny to me about sometimes when you're preordained and you don't know it, there was about 11 seconds between him signing his record deal, and then I would just see him on American Airlines flying back and forth from New York to LA like 3 times a week, because he went from there to being on MTV.
Right.
Like, immediately, like they saw something, and then as that became a natural place for him to be, he became this symbol that went past music. He had all the creative music stuff going, but then there was this visual thing starting to happen, had a lot to do with his presence and physicality, and then after that, movies, and it seemed from the outside just like steps.
Herb was talking about at some point I found some muscles. There was some muscles laying around.
And he slapped them boys on, and
There was some trainer that knew how to activate some muscles that I didn't know existed.
He had them in his ears, and
I don't want anybody to. He's making it all sweet and wrapped.
No, I know it wasn't
that
easy.
But it was. First of all, when I was young, still due to this day, I play multiple instruments.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
Piano, love the drums, pluck around on the guitar. Not too good, but I'm all right. And love to songwrite. So I've always been directly influenced by multi-talented people. So Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, Brian McKnight, when I was a kid, Stevie Wonder, R. Kelly. These are all guys that just kind of check off all the boxes and could say, I hear a song, I can produce the song, I'm a great live performer, et cetera, et cetera. And so I've always felt multi-talented, although I didn't believe that I would be successful in a lot of different areas. But my entry point was I love and look up to artists that have multiple colors. And they don't just sing and say, well, I don't write, I don't produce. And so I'm vulnerable, hoping that a writer shows up. Right. That's the way I feel.
Here's a gift.
Right. So what you did for me when I was 15, had no idea what would come, how and what would be my entry point. To this day, anybody who knows me would say, how the hell did you go from a 30-second commercial and kind of milk this thing into 20 years of some form of show business. I never claimed to be the biggest star. I'm just happy to still be here. And Gail, Craig Parks, who discovered me, brought me to this alley, which is up the street, which is kind of spooky. Never been here to this location, but how the hell is Herb Trawick not even 5 minutes from the place?
Right where Cahuenga hits
the old building.
That's it. I think it's Lancashire and Ventura.
Yeah.
Right across from that Fat Burger. It's an alley.
He was managing me at the time too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I got to work on your record. I had no skill.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a family.
Yeah.
So intimately.
Crazy.
Go to this alley. I'm there.
Yeah.
Robin Thicke was renting out a room.
Signed Robin. Yep.
Another multi-talented dude. And I just could not believe that I went from doing talent shows to like being in a room and in the presence of anything or anyone that had to do with Brian McKnight.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Could not believe it. I used to I know folks would say, oh, you're successful. No. I felt successful. I felt like I made it. I felt like if I had ever felt like it was possible to actually make it, it was because I had a shot at talking to, being in the presence of, getting to know, watching, studying, cracking jokes, and hanging out with Brian McKnight. I mean,
and what's interesting,
crazy.
And I think it's important for our audience, is creativity and following your dream is about inspiration. And you find that space that challenges you to go forward, and don't underestimate how important that is. You can't just have the technology part down. You gotta dream, and I encourage people to dream and hope. It's a dream maker space, and those people who push the boundaries dream about something different. And too many times I notice that you have a certain amount of technical knowledge, and you can get something down, and you can listen to it back, and that's good enough. And it ain't good enough. It's good, and it might be on its way to great. But in order for you to take it to that next level, you gotta. So what's interesting to me about what you were not aware of is that we were as inspired as you were because of you. How technical are you? Are you somebody who is technical? Do you want to sing on a certain kind of mic? Does it go farther than that? Or you?
I think we should bring Richard Furch in for that.
We're joined now by, I don't know if it's fair to call it his musical soulmate, but it's certainly his musical wingman.
Yes.
He's a good friend of ours and a sushi buddy of mine, Richard Furch.
Hey,
Rich,
how's it
how are
going?
you?
Yeah, well,
Richard.
thanks for having me.
So one of the things that you've been able to see, Tyrese from the beginning, when he started as a young guy, and then the success came, his approach to songwriting, as much of a songwriter as he is, how he expresses himself that way, the fact that he's a musician first and he's a player, and a musician that plays instruments, not a player. I didn't mean it that way. I don't want his wife to whoop my behind.
She knows.
Do you?
Ex-player.
That's right. That's right. That's how we got there. Do you find yourself both capturing what his vision is creatively and also protecting the environment so he can stay in a place where he can be creative and not have that outside noise get in?
That's a very good summary of it. I mean, how we met was
I've been doing this for a minute.
Yeah, no. I mean, but it really is. How we met was about 2001, right around the time that you started in Fast and Furious 2. The first, just that came out, and we were working on a record in New York, On Top of Me, with Jack Knight.
Yeah.
With Jack Knight, and that's where we met, and something happened. Like someone, I don't exactly know how I got rehired, because it was one of those sessions, artist and producer walks into studio, and we didn't bring an engineer. Who you got? And I got the call by my guys, but we connected from there, and actually. Just a year later, when I visited in town here, you called me up to work out of I think somewhere in the Valley on an artist that you produced, and we did some. It took a while to get
where we are now.
Sure. But it started 15 years ago. So I feel privy to having witnessed this musical kind of development, especially from the time when you started to get into your own, we're talking Alter Ego, the second side of your album 2006 or something like that. We started at the Edmonds building, and we got really into a rhythm there, and from there it became clear that basically what we do together, the way we kind of found each other on a technical and a musical level would work pretty straightforward, and would be, like you just said, would be like a keeper of is this good? Is this controlled as in the way that Tyrese wants it, in the way that he would like to be in a studio where he can express his vision by himself sometimes, and sometimes with these people like James Fauntleroy, for instance. So it's been a privilege to push that forward, but also kind of develop the sound and this working relationship and this artistic relationship over these years.
What is it about him
that
worked for you?
Y'all use a lot of fancy words, man.
He was just cool.
Yeah. Richard is, I'd like to call Richard, one of my unexpected heroes, Richard, I don't move without Richard. I can't even, at this point, I can't even try and describe or explain what it is that me and Richard do. And I know we came here to explain it.
No, I think you are explaining it.
I can't, it's really an algorithm that either is there or is not. I mean, there's a lot of very talented people that are engineers. Some folks got light years ahead of them sonically, and just how they know how to make it all come together. I literally record my vocals and leave the room, and I come back, 5-10 minutes later, whatever that might be, and Richard just knows what to do. And, obviously between tuning and what we do, we have these kind of vocal presets that we have in place. I just got another place, first place I ever had out of state. I just got another place in Atlanta, and there's vocal presets. So if I have to, unfortunately, use someone else, Richard has made it idiot-proof for anyone to just come in and just kind of cut and paste these vocal presets. I get in the vocal booth and I'm like,
I know
Richie.
Well, there's
Richie all over.
there is an expectations of what, and this is not just it has to be good. It just has to be familiar to take all of that stress. What you were talking about, what you were saying, to funnel the people that you're working with, but it's also funnel yourself. Like you have 10,000 things going on, 10,000 places to be and people that want stuff from you. But the moment we go into that booth, it's the time to like strip that away and go like, okay, what we know is we put on the headphones and there it is. Can we do this in the time allotted to get to the magic? And sometimes the magic takes days. And I'm not saying like that it takes a lot of days.
My biggest song to date, as I mentioned earlier, is a song that me and Richard did together called Shame. And I just have to tell y'all that I have developed this very, what people call weird or very unconventional way of recording, which has nothing to do with like lighting candles and putting murals of your heroes up in the studio and all that shit.
We do the second phase.
That's
and all
normal.
that stuff. Right.
For people, like the way they tap in. Oh, I want to tap into my show enough and put a picture of Michael Jackson up. I get it. What I do is I recorded my last 2 albums to a click track. There's no music coming through my headphone.
Just a click. Just rhythm.
We figure out what key the song is in, and we figure out what the tempo of the song is, and I recorded the entire Shame song. Only a few little pieces that wasn't recorded with sound, but the entire song Shame was recorded to a click track.
How did you arrive at that? Stumbled on it?
Stumbled on it. I mean, you read up on something. I think also one of my good friends did an engineering session for me, and I was like, he had an idea for that, but it was not supposed to be the whole process. But I was like, whoa, there's something that works here. Because one of the things is, like, to really listen to yourself perform is, I think, a really important thing, too.
You know what? I have to tell you.
Uh-oh.
No. I got to tell you what happened. It's pretty serious. What's your friend's name, by the way?
Matt Marin.
Yeah, Matt. So we did the song, which was like when we re-released Open Invitation. What took you so long?
What took you so long?
Was the That's the name of the song.
The song was called that because it
what took you so long? Because it took a long time to get the song done. So what took you so long was the first time I had ever recorded to a click track, and it was what ended up happening for me. First of all, I hate recording, even though I'm a recording artist. It's just like get me out the vocal booth. But so we're recording this song. And it's so musical and there's so much that was going on, which I loved. Maybe it was my ADD or ADHD. I don't know what it was. But hearing all of this music, these chord changes and all this stuff coming into my headphone. And then there was a lot of esoteric kind of chord changes and progressions in the song, which were all beautiful. And it would be like 1, 2, 3, kind of the pre-roll before it's time to record. And then I kept getting it wrong. Whatever the part was, kept getting it wrong, kept going. I was like, oh, go back, try it again. Chords, and then it's time to sing, and now, damn, I got it wrong again. Go back. So then I just decided, you know what? What is the tempo of the song? He said, oh, it's boom, 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 BPM. Cool. Give me a click track. So we did the click track, and I was able to do each piece of the song as many times as I wanted without having to go back 4 bars to listen to the lead in. So when we did Shame, going back to what's current, it was... I need your forgiveness. I need your forgiveness. I need your forgiveness. And I would do that like 7, 8 times. And then Richard, we took it even further. At the top of the Pro Tools grid, there's numbers. So whenever he would hear me do something that sounds all the way right, he would write the number down.
So you have your take.
Yeah,
So it'd be
but
like,
it's a
okay.
linear take of the same word. It's like sampling your vocal without being distracted by whatever comes through your headphones, and with basically listening to your own voice. Like you can actually tell more about your deliberate way of doing things.
But the other side of it is, because this is kind of a system that we've changed and developed along the way. It started out as just a click track, and then we went into, well, instead of listening back to 15 takes, if I do 15 takes of the same phrase, why don't you start writing down your favorites? That's tied into the number that's above the Pro Tools.
So you just listen to the best ones.
Yeah, so then he would go back, and it was like, okay, like literally looking at the screen and go 72, 78, 84. And he was like, oh, that was good. And so then when it's time for him to do a comp or go back and listen to the best of, he would focus on the ones that he wrote down. So then that's when I would leave, the lazy man.
You're done.
Okay, please give me
You're
out. I finished most of the first verse. Can I leave, sir?
Right, yeah.
Then he would sit there and literally go through all of the vocals, the best of that I recorded to the click track, and put a seamless full first verse together. And if I came in and listened with fresh ears, then I would ask him to go back to other takes that may be better than the ones that he picked. So now we got the whole first verse done. Without me having to sing it from top to bottom. Which some may say is lazy, but I don't care.
I think it's efficient.
Because it is the best use of my time.
Exactly.
And it's moving and operating within my ADD.
And it's working.
It's all the way working. I mean, when you listen to Shame, I wish somebody would say that they could even hear an edit.
I wish a motherfucker would.
I wish a motherfucker would say that they could even hear an edit.
That's where the comments lit up.
What technically are you doing? Vocal chains, microphones on the head?
He has a Magic C800. I think it's actually C800, not the C800G. I'm not sure. I would have to check on that.
Same mic I've had forever.
That's right. And then when we met, like early 2000s, the R&B chain was actually the Avalon 737 and that. And then later you had that Babyface mod where the compressor got a little bit of a faster attack time. So this one is, I think over time they actually put that mod in the actual production unit, so I don't think you need to have it modded anymore. It's just faster now. But it is one of those, and you know that box gets a lot of flack, like as being a beginner's box or something. I think it's fantastic. Goes with. It is his sound, and like we obviously we've been in a pickle where we've been in other places, and we will re-record a lot of stuff because like this is not the magic mic.
The beautiful thing about recording in other places that may not have our vocal chain is that everybody's got a click track.
That's true. That's true. So your tempo's never gonna be off. So no matter what happens.
So much emphasis on that.
I mean, it's
kind of cool.
It works, bruh. If I even when it comes to rap, R&B, blues, literally, I hope and pray that folks listen to this and be like, yo, I ain't know. Try it. I promise you. Because singing a song from top to bottom, a full verse, if you got it in you, you one of them live gospel singers that can go from top to bottom, have at it. I am a technical, analytical. I'd like to get in there. I mean, me and Richard be in there with the tuning. We nudge, and we just get it perfect, and it happens.
So you're the capture guy, and are you also the mix guy for the record?
Yes. The whole record has to go top to bottom.
Birth, cradle to grave.
It has to be, because it's,
No grade.
even after
grade.
we're done with the for instance, the vocals, whatever. Like the song is already so close to where we need it to be that it has to be finished. I normally take it to my studio at that point, but it doesn't change much because we already worked so much towards it. I feel that if we actually gave a song, like a big song like Shame, whatever, that starts small and goes into all your ad-lib situations, etc., to hand it off at this very point after we literally spent 16 days on this lead vocal, it would be a very...
Was it 16?
It was 16 days.
It was not 16.
Was I not supposed to say that?
No, you was not.
Okay, cut that.
I remember 7 days.
Sure, whatever.
Wait,
I heard it was 3
it was
days.
not 16 days on vocals. It was 16 days to finish it. Because we did at least 6-7 days on like cutting vocals. And then everything else was just all the other shit that we do, which is like mad scientists get in there and tweak, nudge, and pick it
Yeah, I
apart.
was thinking too, like...
Yeah, thanks.
That's the way that
16 days should
Well,
not be on
I
camera.
can prove it. I can prove it was 7 days, because if he sung that shit for 16 days, he would be in a loony bin somewhere, and unable to talk, and he would
To a click.
He would be reacting violently to seeing you again.
He'd be on
So,
CNN.
Yeah.
Tyrese snapped.
Well, the funny thing is on this, I mean, of course, other great mixers could have mixed these songs. I'm not saying that nobody can do it. Of course not.
No, I think-
but we tweak it around
The
again.
too many cooks kind of concept is valid. I think you should do it.
Yeah.
Where are we going musically? What's next for you?
Oh.
Well, when another one of the projects that me and Richard first started working on was long before everybody else kind of jumped on the train of alter egos. I had an album called Alter Ego. And one whole side was me singing, other side was me rapping and having fun with the culture, and was never chasing a hip-hop career and trying to be Jay-Z, but that's one of my idols in the hip-hop space. But, there's a new album project that's somehow turning into a double album, which is called Identity Theft. I feel like sonically, what we're doing and what we're working on, no promoter is ever going to book me as a rapper. I'll always be booked as a singer. But what I feel, going back to that original motivation, what I feel is missing in the rap game, I want to bring it. I want to bring back some real lyrics where you can, like, damn, that song gave me some shit to think about. Versus, I did home did bad. It's like,
I just bought that record.
I don't really. That's my shit right there. I was just listening to that.
It's in my car.
Right. So, I think this album is just gonna shock people. And it was supposed to be a hip hop album only, and Black Rose was supposed to be a double album.
True.
With hip hop and R&B. We ended up just releasing the R&B side. So I think Identity Theft is going to be that double album. And, the recent release of Drake's album, the double album, kind of made me go, after listening to it, I did this a while ago, and I think I might need to kind of run back through this door, because it seems like people are way more receptive to one artist singing fully and rapping fully than they were back when we did it.
Completely.
It was after I did Alter Ego, it was Mary J. Blige versus Brooklyn. It was Beyonce versus Sasha Fierce. It was Tip, which was Tip versus T.I., and it was Sweat and Suit with Nelly. And it was just all of these different people that was singing suddenly rapping, or vice versa. And I just think people are having more fun with music. People are not so in a box. Like, what you doing rapping? You a singer. Tyson Beckford looking. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Tyson Beckford
Get over there in
Taxi.
your box. Stay in your damn box.
You went there?
Yeah, it's
Damn.
like, that's what it is. People make their connections and they want to
lock
keep you
in.
right there.
Yeah, they lock in.
And people are just way more open to people just like, yo, put on your freaking Andre 3000 outfit, you know, put on your chains, wear your neon and your colors, and just do the shit that you doing that represents whatever it is that you representing, and be fearless and not be afraid. And back when I mean, they literally stopped Alter Ego from coming out for like maybe a year and a half after we finished it. And then Clive Davis finally gave me permission. But I basically drove him completely nuts. And then he finally put the shit out. Him and Larry Jackson.
Yep.
Believe it or not.
Those days. I remember those days. So now are you making the music on your records as well too, as opposed to just vocals? You're bringing other people in to produce?
Yeah, we, C's Monstrosity, who is the future. He was around, ask Fauntleroy in 1500 about Siege.
Okay.
He is, even Hit Boy was one of my young guns way back when. All these guys,
amazing, right?
they know about Siege Monstrosity. He is the problem of problems,
gotcha.
Producer-wise. And he did the majority of the album, Identity Theft, and I just can't wait for people to hear it. The beautiful thing is that no one's checking for me as a rapper. And so there's no anticipation.
Knock him over the head.
There is no like, yo, when, there ain't no, it's just like everybody is gonna give me that, man, get the, really?
Right.
And then it's just gonna catch folks off guard with sonically what we're about to do.
All right, let me switch gears really quickly because this is just for me.
Do it.
You're in an action scene, you're in a car, you're doing whatever. Where is the audio? Is it in the car? Is it on your body? Where are they picking up your dialogue or whatever's going on?
All depends. If I gotta get thrusted out of the car, then the mic is on me.
It's on you, right.
If I'm staying in the car and all of the dialogue is in the car, they may put a mic on me just to make sure we get that extra level of crispy and direct feed. But there's always mics in the car, in front or whatever your kind of positioning is, where you're facing.
That's right.
There's always a mic to capture.
And then when effects are going on around you, are you reacting to things that will later be put in post or CGI, or that
all depends on the movie?
Yeah.
I've done movies with $350 million budgets. I've been on the set of movies with $12 million budgets or even less. So you can't really get too much of nothing done at $12 million.
Right.
So
you're reacting to pop bottle cans.
We got some creative specialists.
Act afraid. Boom. That was a good shot.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're doing movies on the scale of a Fast and the Furious or Transformers, as soon as you do your scenes with you physically being in the movie, they come in with, with most of these movies, there's a company called ILM, which is out of the Bay Area.
Yep.
And they come in and do what they do. And
Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah. Take their pictures and make sure that they kind of figure out where these robots and all of the stuff is going to be. But I've never seen, just as an example, I've never seen a life-size Transformer ever.
Except for in your backyard.
Yeah, I have to take care of that. You got a problem with something, you fix it.
That's right.
Well, there you go.
And you have no problems with burglars.
No. That's my alarm system.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's cameras in his eyes.
Yeah.
Making sure.
I'm afraid of him in the picture.
Yeah,
so, from your perspective, when you think about the backstory of Tyrese, talent shows early on, nobody believing, him winning, then being discovered, then moving forward really fast. You were in relatively early in the space. And
what album was that? Was that number 2?
I Want to Go There.
Number 3?
Was this 2 or 3? It
Probably
might be
number
3.
Yeah, probably right. So it's still on RCA at that point in time.
Yeah, it's 2001.
Right.
And you did
Before
your
you
first
moved to
album was
Clive.
like what, 98?
I Want to Go. Yeah, damn. I Want to Go There was with Clive. Yeah. That was my first release with Clive.
That was the first release with Clive because there was 2 at RCA, 2 or 3. Yeah.
Folks don't know it, but the whole RCA Black Music Division got wiped out, and Clive had first dibs at all of the talent that was at RCA.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he had Alicia Keys on the roster, which was his first signing. And I think it was two of us that got picked up from RCA and moved over to J.
In fact, they split it between L.A. Reid and Clive, and you could pick, because there was J Records as Arizona.
A la carte.
And the only two people who got picked up were Tyrese, and he went to Clive, and Cherokee, who I had, who went to L.A. Reid.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. That's why I was involved in both
Cherokee.
at the time. But the point I was getting to is that he has always used inspiration and dreaming as I think what you're saying is you dream with your eyes wide open.
Yeah.
And the idea that no matter where you are in your journey, you're continuing to dream, right?
Yeah.
That's something that you have to support, particularly when it's working. So you support it in terms of your friendship, you support it in terms of technical abilities and new things.
Richard has seen all the colors.
Right.
Richard is my therapist.
That's actually a better question.
That's an extra charge, yeah.
Yeah. Richard has seen all the colors. And of all these years that I've worked with him, and the trust factor is, I don't know if he's ever signed an NDA, for one. And for two, I've never had anybody to walk up to me and say, yo, I was just with Richard, and he told me boom, 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 boom. So it's kind of a mutual, unspoken respect. And so I've never defined him as an engineer. He's a friend of 15 years.
Wow.
And we happen to get into this world of music with all these buttons and do what we do sonically that's unmatched. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of very talented duos, and I get it. We don't need to compare who sold the most and all this dumb shit that's very superficial. It is like, whether that album sold the most or not, you cannot deny what me and Richard do sonically. Period.
Speaking of that, before Dave wraps it up, you were one of the early guys that I knew that sort of pioneered mixing off the internet.
Yeah.
Probably the earliest guy I met that ever did that. And who are some of your other clients because I know this relationship goes far, but you've done a lot of different folks, like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest would have been Prince. This is about 2009.
Yeah, just a small name.
Yeah, it just appeared actually on the streaming services, the thing we did, which is it's amazing. His music was very controlled, and now after this time it is available, you know. But then, yeah, I think a lot of stuff in the urban world, like Outkast, Macy Gray, India.Arie, Boyz II Men. I seem to stay in that.
Well, it's because the accent.
That's what it is. That's really.
That is straight up.
That's my client. They come from me for the accent.
That's how everybody talks.
I don't know. Maybe that's why I did. That's why I did the mixing over the internet, so people didn't have to talk to me.
That's why we do it too.
Richard's got it, man. Richard's got it.
Folks, this is what a successful duo looks like. It's based on musical stuff, but it's also based on way more than that. And if you're lucky in your life, you'll find a partner. And it's also the way you treat a partner. It comes back to you in bucket loads. So, DP, take us home.
This is a tough one for me. I was sitting here thinking, it seems like a singer going into a studio and singing has got to be the most difficult thing ever on earth. When I used to play sessions and I'd make a mistake, I'd look down at my guitar and blame the guitar. A piano player has a piano between him and his audience, but a singer's got nothing, maybe that much metal from a microphone. And then you've got to go into a completely strange environment. You've never really spent much time singing with headphones, so that's a strange thing for you, having either both ears on, and everything about the process is just horrible for a singer. And then they look through the glass at the engineer, and he's like, you know, and now he's got to get his emotions going. He's got to get everything going, or she, and it's a rare skill that an engineer can give a singer, the confidence to perform like they need to perform and to make it seem like they could do whatever they want, and he's there to protect you, and he's the safety net. He's got you covered, or she's got you covered, and that relationship that they have, I'm a little bit jealous of. It's what every engineer should strive for. And if you don't have that, just quit, because that's what our profession is all about, right, Richard? It's giving somebody the opportunity to be themselves, and you do that through trust and patience, a lot of patience, and love, love for that person. And when you see those relationships, we've seen a few through history. I won't name them, but I like to see one engineer, one artist that has that relationship, and I think that's something you should strive for too. We'll see you next week.